Hello everyone, hello patriots and people who truly love this country. So this is my walkaway video. I posted about it before, but now I'm going to make a video about it. My name's Tevin. I was born and raised in Philadelphia. I come from a great family. Also, my family is very Democrat. They've been Democrat. I guess they've been Democrat, still very Democrat to this day. And I never really understood why. I never really just paid attention to politics like that. I remember when I can remember when I was like a kid, and I remember when my family was pushing for John Kerry to win the presidency in 2004, and unfortunately they were upset. And then fast forward when Obama came in and he started running, they were all for him, and a lot of people, including my family, were happy and celebrating. And I remember when he got elected, I was like maybe 12 or 13. I was in 7th grade. But, I wasn't like crazy about it. I was happy for him, first black president. That's cool. But, like I just didn't really care like that because, I was a kid. So it just I didn't really dawn on it. I didn't pay attention to his presidency. And I didn't start following politics until Donald Trump announced that he was running. And I just listened to him, and he talked about making America great again. He talked about the border. He talked draining the swamp, and it's crazy. It's like a lot of people started turning on him, saying, oh, he's a racist, he's a Nazi. And then I was like, wait a minute, I've known about Trump before he ran for president. I remember all the things. I just remember he had the show Celebrity Apprentice, and he was on all these cameo movies, and almost everyone in Hollywood loved him, and rappers wanted to be like him. Everybody, Hollywood was head over heels for Trump, and it was just crazy. Everyone was turning on him. I didn't understand why, and I was like, I said to myself, why are they so against him? And I didn't know why, and I didn't know anybody at the time. I didn't know anybody. This was in the summer of 2015. I was new to this. I didn't know any other Republican. I know any other Trump supporters, and just some of the things I was told, I heard growing up, that Republicans are all racist, and all their supporters are a bunch of hillbillies, and that just all they care is and they care about the rich white people, all this stuff, blah blah blah. And then I started paying attention to Trump more, and just listening to him. And then I started to realize then they said, oh, he said this, he did this. Then I started to realize, they're taking his words out. I realized that the media started to take his words out of context, or just they lied about some things they said about him. They said he mocked a reporter for his disability because some guy had cerebral palsy. Now he did that with other people that aren't disabled, like Ted Cruz, and I'm I still think it was a little weird, but he didn't mock that reporter because of his disability, and the media just lied and just spun with it, and then everyone started going on with it. And then I won't forget, I just got I was getting a lot of heat from family members, but I was and I just kept listening to Trump. I was like, you know what, I realized, he has no experience in politics. This is an outsider. He's a businessman, and let's try something new. And you had all these other politicians who they got in there, and they got these lobbyists, and people funded them and campaigned for them, and they campaigned, but Trump self-funded his own campaign, and it's wow, they never heard anything like that. And I remember the night of the election, and on the 2016, because my family, they were all for Hillary, and if only they knew how evil that woman is. And I remember when Trump won, and I was so happy. I was celebrating. I was and this is when I was still friends with a lot of family members on Facebook, and and family friends. And I remember I got so many nasty insults from people, and just making you're still in this racist, bigoted country. And I won't forget another family member. I overheard a family member saying, "Yeah, America's great. America's great. The KKK is going to take over. All the black people are going to be in jail, and all the foreigners are going to be sent back." And they just, to this day, they're still fooled by it. And just like I said, so during Trump's first term, I was still learning a lot, and I didn't know anybody. The people that I'm friends with now, I didn't know. I didn't have any friend at the time. You know, just still I still like all this got all this heat. You know, I still for anyone. Oh, they hate black people. They hate you. Hang with those racist rednecks. Oh, those Trump people. They hate black people. They're gonna call you the N-word. They're gonna say this. Oh, someone said to me, if I go their neighborhood, they're gonna kill me and, you know, like hang me. And it was like I just started to see all like the nonsense that people were saying. And I realized as I, like during his first term, I just realized the media was doing everything to paint this man as a monster. And, you know, he did go, you know, I feel like Trump's first term was more of a learning experience because he didn't have the best people in his cabin, but, you know, he was definitely doing something right for the country. But it was just, he just got all this heat and just backlash, and it was just ridiculous. And then like soon, then I really started doing some digging, started finding all these websites, and then going on like learning certain things about history that we were lied to. We were lied to think, you know, black people were not the only ones enslaved. Slavery was a thing before America was a country. Almost every part of the world practiced slavery. I learned also in history, we learned, remember in school, like I learned about, like, you know, Nazi Germany and a thing about, but we didn't learn about like communism and socialism and Marxism. And that's what's going on right now, because these kids are the kids today are being indoctrinated. They hate this country. You know, I started looking at things like CRT. I started finding stuff about like how like all these just like how like you know like certain things like the JFK assassination. I feel like that was definitely an inside job. And I also learned that the Democrat Party founded the Jim Crow laws. See, that's the thing. A lot of black people don't know that, and that people don't know that Lyndon LBJ, a Democrat president, racist, he quote said, "I'll have them N-words be voting Democrat for the next 100 years." And unfortunately, he lived up to that. And I think there's a lot of black people that are Democrat and just don't know why. And I think and I've heard this from other black conservatives. But back to like back to the whole thing with Trump's presidency, and then when COVID hit, and then unfortunately we were just being lied to about so many things, and just some of the stuff that were being pushed. It was absolutely insane. And still being a conservative, like I started like following other people, like people like Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, Dinesh D'Souza, but Caitlin Bennett. And this most definitely the like one who really influenced me was definitely Charlie Kirk. See, a lot of older people looked up to Rush Limbaugh, but then Charlie Kirk came to, like, I just stumbled on his video, and for years I was listening to him. And you may not agree with everything he says and does, but you know, this man was definitely, I saw him as a modern day disciple, and he spoke so much truth. And I learned that he was the type of guy who, when he was in high school, he questioned things. He realized certain things just didn't make sense, and he questioned it, and he felt like this generation was going down the wrong path, and he was that guy who was just gonna throw him back in the right direction. It's another thing is with just like soon, like I end up finding like I was able to find some new friends. So I remember just coming home from work, and this was like in August of 2020, and I came across some people doing a Trump flag wave. I was like, oh my God, I never seen this. Like, this is crazy. And I still at the time didn't know any Trump supporters, and I came in and I joined them, and one thing led to another. And then I learned the next day that Brandon Straka, the guy who started Walkaway, is going to be in Philly tomorrow. I was like, oh my God, he's coming to my town tomorrow. I got to be there. And then I'll take an Uber down there. I was watching him. I was listening to him. He had all the other speakers there. It was great. It was like, wow. And not only that, I finally got a chance to meet him, and just realizing my experience in being part of MAGA. And I was like, I met so many great people, I met so many great friends, and it just I went going to my very first like Trump rally. There was all different kinds of people. It was like not just white people. There was like Asian people, Hispanic people. There was like Jewish people, and all. Yes, and also there's gay people. There are gay people who support Trump, and some people don't want to believe that. And it was just a great experience, and everyone, it's just so fun. It's positive. It's very upbeat. I think like one thing just turned another, and I went to, I think I saw Trump like maybe like 5 times already, and I had a great time. I got interviewed by like Real America Voice and Right Side Broadcasts. It's just been a fun ride, and not only that caused me to get involved in my local politics, and it's just like, wow, just like it's just the media has really, I just realized like that, and I look back, what the media is completely lying. They're the main problem. They're one of the reasons this country is being divided, because they just twist so many stories. Not only they lie about Trump, but they lie all supporters, thinking that they're Klan members, Nazis, and I was going to be rejected, and honestly, I experienced more hatred from the left, especially like white liberals who said the most mean things to me. And then I come across and learn more what the left is doing, and they want to like sexualize our children. And I say, like, wait a minute, I was at school, none of this stuff was going on. They're okay with like transitioning kids and pushing the whole LGBT on the kids, and I'm like, I don't see how anyone could be for that. I learned that it's like they get mad when you mention prayer, and I see like all the destruction, like how I see how like the media doesn't cover, they don't really, they cover liberals and conservatives a different way. And you look at like what happened in the Summer of Love of 2020. You look at like Antifa, and it doesn't happen over here in America, it happens in other countries. And I realize like they'll say peaceful, and I try to explain to my family members, and they don't want to listen, and they're just so poisoned by the media. And it's like, oh my, it's like I love them, but a lot of them are really informed. That and other people I used to talk to are just misinformed what's going on. Like I recently just a guy I've known since high school just stopped talking to me, and because times he got on my post and he told me how Trump is a Nazi and this and that, and I explained to him why, and I said, can you explain one thing why? And he said, OMG, haven't you been paying attention? And and I was like, this is not the first time, because there's so many people who said Trump's XYZ and all his other things, and they just couldn't back up what they claim. Even when I did like flag waves, I've gotten like nasty comments like towards people who drive by and said nasty things to my friends and I, and they said, oh, he's a felon, he's this. I'm like, why? What? How? And they could not answer. And I realized, like, Trump is not out of control. He's out of their control. They hate him because he's not paid and bought out. He's not like the rest of these politicians in D.C. And he says it how he is. He says it how it is. And, I want to keep fighting. I'm going to continue to keep fighting. And I made it so far. And that's what Charlie Kirk would want. Because you don't know how upset I was when he died. He was definitely like, he was a big influence in my life. I never been so upset over someone dying like that, and the pain is still there. He definitely was just a big inspiration to so many others. And us conservatives, we must continue to fight to the end, no matter what. It's just remember, we need not just to make America great again, we need to make America godly again. My name is Tevin, and I'm happy that I walked away from liberalism and I walked away from the Democrat Party. I hope this message was very helpful. Thank you.